Here is my shoe setup for the shoe still life you guys are going to be working on. I chose a pair of shoes that have some character, that have some shape to them, and then I put this cloth behind them to sort of set up a background. Now, because I have skylights in my studio, I don't have the best lighting. Ideally, you're going to have the light come in from one side, but let's just move around this. Now, I moved around this still life quite a lot trying to get the right setup. So you see here, if I look at it from this side, I don't really have any cast. I have a little bit right in here, a little bit of cast shadow, but not too much. It's almost like the light is hitting directly on the boots. There's a little bit of shadow under here, but it's kind of a flatter image and not too many shadows going on. So if you come over here, you can see there's just more to look at. These cast shadows in here are going, and the kind of light side and darker side are going to give me something to go on when I'm making my painting. So make sure before you even start that you have interesting lighting, preferably from one direction. That just simplifies things. And then the other thing you're going to want to do is rearrange things, right? Is that the most interesting composition? Is it better if they're totally to the side? What kind of story can you tell through the arrangement of your boots or shoes? Or maybe it's just not about telling a story, but just about making interesting shapes and a nice relationship between the two shoes. Look at the negative space, all the space around those shoes, and see that it's making something interesting and pleasing to the eye. Composition is important, and getting everything set up initially before you even start painting is the way to go. Don't choose flip-flops. Don't choose flat light. Next, you're gonna have to figure out which way do I want this canvas? How am I gonna get that onto here? Remember, you don't have to do it vertically. You can do it horizontally if that makes more sense. Just look at the thing as a whole. You can kind of do this little arty thing with two L's and see like, okay, that's what that would look like vertically. That's what that would look like horizontally. I don't know, I'm gonna go vertical just because, but it really depends on your composition and what else you have going on. One thing, and it sounds funny, but this happens very often, is that people will draw their shoe and the toe will come off the edge of the canvas. No toes off the edges of the canvas. So when you're laying out your composition, make sure that the shoe fits in your frame. I'm going to do my underpainting with ultramarine blue, burnt umber, and thinner. And here we go. How to get this? Think about this underpainting is just a light sketch to try to get it on there. I think it's pretty useful to sort of determine the shape of that shoe composition and where it's going to go on here. That way you don't have any toes that run out. So kind of defining where the bottom edge of that boot is going to be, and then where's the top edge of that boot, the toe in this direction, and then in my case the heel over here, just to be like, okay, I'm going to try to get those shoes in this segment so that there's a little bit of space around it, but it fills it pretty nicely. And I have this kind of dramatic base, so I'm going to just lay that in. Now, we're working from real life. You're going to be you're gonna have to contend with things like the foreshortening of that shoe as it's coming towards you. So remember, as things are coming directly at you, like look at my fingers, they're that long, but as they tip towards you, they get shorter. So that's another thing with shoes that can be a little tricky. All of a sudden you end up with this big long clown shoe. Depending on your angle, you know, unless you're looking directly above it, that shoe is gonna be it's gonna be foreshortened as it comes towards you. Don't judge. I have to tell that to myself too. You gotta let it come together before you decide to get real critical. I've exceeded my boundary a little bit. In the drawing of this, laying out the proportions, remember to look at the negative space, all these spaces around the boots. That will help you, or the shoes, that will help you get the shape and proportion right. So I don't know. I don't like it. This is the time. You don't like what's going on? You have barely invested any time. Take a step back. What do you think? I think for me, I'm like, well, the boots just look too small in there. I'm gonna try to push them closer to the margin. Closer, you know, I want less negative space around them. I don't want little teeny tiny boots, and I don't want you to make little teeny tiny shoes in the middle of a big canvas. We want this composition to feel full. So, wipe it out, start again. And I'm going to use this rub out that I made to help me define the boots. And I'm coming a little closer so I get a bit more of this overview. Dang it all. Too close. Too close. What am I gonna do about that? Okay, just gonna inch it over. Don't expect to get this right the first time. You gotta make mistakes. That's how you're gonna find it. You're looking at real life, things are crazy. You can use this brush handle to help you figure out what angle things are at. So, and then it's like, okay, that's the slope of that shoe. Just a little bit less. Remember, not getting caught up in details. I just got sidetracked by that tread. Think dark and light. As tempting as it is, don't neglect your background. See if you can. It's hard when you're looking in real life and you have so much information. Try not to get distracted by the local color of the things that you're painting. So, you know, if you're painting bright yellow shoes, you may be tempted to just paint the shoe all yellow. Instead, and especially in this underpainting portion, what you're looking for is the light in the dark. So try to get that light system established.